I moved to New York City. I did not know a single person. I feel like the hardest part, did moving out affect your mental health? And it could have not gone more smoothly.
Hey guys, today I'm going to be doing a Q&A about my experience within the last 6 months of moving to New York City. This video was filmed a month ago when I was back home for break, but in this video I'll be talking about making friends in the city, college, homesickness, and just getting into all of your questions. Also, I somehow lost the footage of me grabbing a matcha latte.
Hello you guys, let me get comfortable. Hello and welcome to today's video. I just got my matcha latte and we're gonna sit down and have kind of a chit chat Q&A, almost like if this is a podcast, so maybe grab a snack. And I just wanted to talk to you guys and answer some of you guys' questions relating to just the crazy past 6 months I've had. When this video goes up, I think it's a week before my 6-month anniversary in a way of me moving to New York, transferring schools. It's funny I'm filming this video though because I am actually back home right now. I'm on my winter break, and that's also why I'm in my car right now, because I don't drive when I'm living in New York. So that is kind of like where I am right now if you guys are curious. I just plan on diving deep into what I've been feeling and how I've been for the last 6 months. And then also I asked you guys on Instagram, if you guys are following me there, I posted a little sticker thing where you guys could ask questions as well. So I'll be getting into those specific ones after I talk just a little bit about how I've been and kind of answer like the general questions. Also, if you guys like these types of videos, please let me know, because I kind of get a little nervous filming these sit down like talking videos just because I don't know if it's boring or not to you guys. So if you really do enjoy this content, please tell me. So let's just dive into it. So I moved to New York City, I think on August 26th, 2023. Personally, it has been such a journey. You guys probably don't know, but that's been like one of my biggest dreams of mine, and I'm constantly living through it. And honestly, I think the biggest thing of why it's been such a positive experience is because I haven't really had many hard times with moving. That also gets into some of the questions that you guys were asking me about, which I'll get into more specifically later. And just to put in perspective of where I am in life, I'm currently a 3rd year in college. I never dormed. I did community college for my first 2 years, and then I just transferred. And I also live off campus, which I am so glad I did. I was really trying to dorm, but I'm just so glad I didn't, because I just feel like I have my own life in New York separate from school. I go to Fordham University as well. I go to the Lincoln Center campus in Manhattan. I know Fordham has 2 campuses. I do not go to the Rose Hill one. So this is all of my experience with like the Lincoln Center campus that Fordham has. I really want to help you guys, especially with the spring semester and a lot of people are transferring. I just hope this video is really useful. So now that you guys know my living situation, what school I go to, now I'm going to kind of recap the semester a little bit. I moved to New York City all by myself, not knowing a single person. It has probably been the most scariest and kind of daring thing I have ever done in my entire life. I did not know a single person in the city. I had to go out on Facebook groups and reach out to roommates and people that were also moving there. It was just something I've never had to do before. My roommates have been students in New York City also longer than I have, so they've kind of had, I guess, experience and also know people in the city. And I was just very scared as someone who was out of state, living 4 hours out of the city in like Washington, DC, not knowing a single person that went to Fordham or even just lived in New York in general. Like, it was just such a scary experience. I am so glad I pushed myself to do it, because I've always wanted to live in New York. It's been such a dream of mine, literally on my vision board for 2023, and it could have not gone more smoothly and more positively, which I will get into later. Once the semester started, my school had like a 3-day or 4-day long orientation. It was super long, very extensive, but I'm kind of glad now looking back on it because it really allowed me to meet as many people as possible. And then I remember that first day of orientation when I was all by myself, I was like a whole different person. The school put us in like these small groups, and I just started talking to like anyone and everyone. I feel like it's really bringing out the extroverted. There's a person. Okay, guys, I'm a horrible YouTuber. I just started talking to everyone and tried to be as social as possible, and this was really hard because when the pandemic happened in my junior year of high school, I did all of senior year online. Also, when I was at community college, I did the virtual like online classes. So I've been doing online school for like 3 years straight. So with that being said, that made me become such an introverted person. I really shelled myself in a way and just kept my small circle of friends. I also developed such bad social anxiety when having to talk to new people, and so I was scared out of my mind. If you can imagine me at orientation, like actually shaking, like sweating, but it really helped me. And once I got the hang of it, like the same kind of conversation people were asking you, like where are you from, like what's your major, what year you're in, you kind of like just start applying that to everything else. On my first day of classes, like I would just start asking people those questions. I think one of the reasons why this was so easy for me was because I was in a brand new city. No one knew who I was from back at home, so I was in a way almost reinventing myself in this really extroverted, super social, just this ultimate friend like kind of version of myself that I had in my mind. Like I wanted to be that to these people and make meaningful connections, and that's honestly what happened. And that's also one of the reasons why I wanted to move to New York, is because I didn't really want to go to any of the state schools in my area. I was looking at them, if you guys saw my college decision video, but I just didn't really feel comfortable kind of going forward with that. It just wasn't super appealing to me, but that's also what I wanted personally. Like some of my friends really like going to the big state schools where a lot of people from my high school went there, and it's easy to make friends because you know a lot of people from high school, and if they're not from the same high school, they're definitely from like the same kind of area, which I think is nice. That's also a really nice and easy way to make friends if you're like looking to transfer or go to new colleges. But for me, I wanted like a clean slate, and I feel like it's such a freeing feeling to be in a brand new city. You can literally just be whoever you want to be. It gives you the power to completely like reinvent yourself, and I didn't realize that as much as I do now looking back on it. I also had a lot of people that reached out to me on Instagram because I posted on a Facebook group that I was looking for roommates, so I had a lot of people reach out to me there. And one thing I did with that, even when I already decided my roommates, I would still reply to the other people that reached out to me, and I would tell them obviously like, I'm sorry I already found my roommates, but hey, let's meet up and get coffee or lunch when the school year starts. I would love to meet you. I did not realize how much that actually helped me, because it kind of gave me these plans to look forward to with these people, even though like I've never met them. But I remember when I first moved up there, I had like 5 people I could easily text and be like, hey, like let's meet up for coffee, because I already said that over the summer. That's actually how I met a lot of my really close friends. And with that being said, the school year kind of just started after orientation. Honestly, my class load and work wasn't that hard this past semester. The only thing I really struggled with my classes was honestly just getting there, because a lot of the schoolwork or the work we would do would be during the class time. Obviously the midterms and the finals were a lot, but I feel like that's kind of common in any school. I was taking 5 classes and 15 credits, I think. This spring, I'm actually taking 5 classes, but I'm taking 19 credits. I'm taking close to 20 credits. I'll let you guys know how that goes. I know Fordham as a school really cares about attendance, and I think our school rule is if you like skip 3 classes, you get like an F and you get dropped from like the class. My professors like were able to work around that. I just scored really low on like some of the participation stuff. Definitely something to work on for this coming up semester. It's literally just the morning classes, like waking up. I'm not a morning person, but I feel like I learned a lot this past semester, and with making sure I go to bed on time and managing my time well, I obviously knew that going into that, that's how it was going to be. Like I don't expect my college professors to be treating me like a high schooler. It was just like really hard because I was doing online remote classes. Like there's no commitment there, and I didn't realize that. But anyways, since I didn't have a lot of homework outside of class, I really got to prioritize my friends, and I said yes to like probably every single thing when I first moved there. And I feel like that's probably like some good advice to give. Obviously don't say yes to something if you're not super comfortable with it. And now I can kind of relax a little bit more, like now having like a set group of friends. But moving there initially, like I would advise anyone to just say yes to anything, like take on any new opportunities that you get. That recap literally just became like a whole entire separate video. I'm now going to look at the questions that you guys asked me, and I feel like I answered most of them. I have all of these questions here that we're gonna answer. Someone said cat update. Oh my gosh, you guys, I love my 3 cats back at home. I don't know if you guys know, but I do have 3 cats here. I currently don't have any cats in my New York apartment. My apartment's kind of strict with pets and also with roommates. I don't know, I would just feel so bad like keeping a cat in my room. I feel like it's such a small space for them. Maybe if I move out and like get a different apartment in the next year or 2. As of right now, for the building I'm living in, no. Someone also asked, how was your experience meeting new people and making friends? I kind of explained this earlier in the video, but overall really good, like I said. How do you handle being away from home? So I wanted to talk a little bit about this, which was like homesickness and like missing my family, because personally I didn't really experience that, and it's not even like I had a toxic family household. Like I love my parents so much, and I just think it was mainly just the timing. It was just kind of accepting the fact that this is life. Things change. Like I obviously wasn't going to live there for the rest of my life, and as much as my parents love me, they wouldn't want me living there for the rest of my life. Like they would want me to move out and like be independent. So I feel like with that mindset, it wasn't really hard on me. I didn't really cry that much, but that's also because I really FaceTime them like a lot. Like I constantly text my parents, like every single day I'm sending them pictures of what I'm doing and like coffee shops I'm at. And then on top of that, I'm FaceTiming them probably like every single week. So I think that's why I don't really like sit and cry and like miss my parents. But I think that's once again just because I've kind of accepted the change even before it happened, because I knew I wanted this so badly. Someone asked like how often do I visit my family and go back home. When I moved out in August, I visited for Thanksgiving break in November, and then I also went back home back in December, like right now, for my winter break. So I'm here until like early January, and I think the next time I'm going to come back home is probably my spring break, which is in March, and then I'll probably come back a little bit for the summer. Probably not as much though, just because I am paying for my rent, so I do want to be in New York a lot. Someone asked what was the hardest thing about the transition. For me, honestly, I think it was like what I was saying about my classes earlier, which was getting to school on time. And I think that was just the hardest part of the transition, which was like, wow, I'm really on my own here. I really have to make sure I wake up to my alarms in the morning, and time management. That was the hardest thing, the time management adjustment. Like, I feel like that's not even hard, but for me personally, that's what it was. Someone asked what made you want to transfer colleges. Like I said, I've always wanted to transfer, and I've always wanted to live in New York. And after seeing I could actually go through and do this, I was like, why not just move now? I also think the biggest thing of what made me want to transfer was just because I knew I didn't want to be at community college for the rest of my life, and I just knew I was going to transfer at some point. Did moving out affect your mental health? Personally, I don't think it really did. If anything, it probably affected it in like a most positive way, because I really got time to kind of get to know myself a lot more, because I wasn't super independent before I moved out. I thought I was when I liked being on my own and I was more of an introvert, but like it's very different being independent and an extrovert, because I've never been like that before in my life. Because when I was an extrovert in high school, like being super social before the whole pandemic, I was definitely not independent. Like I'm so glad everything worked out so smoothly, and my mental health hasn't dipped or anything. If anything, it has spiked like crazy, because I'm just so overall grateful and feeling so much gratitude like on an everyday basis. Does NYC already feel like home? She also asked, do you already feel used to like the NYC rhythm? And I feel like 100% yes. I visited New York so many times before I moved to there. I was there like every single month for like the last year before I moved there. Like I was doing monthly trips. My friends and I would just love to go and eat the food there. The food there is so good, and also just how walkable the city is. I don't really live in a walkable city like New York, and I just love going on walks and stumbling upon like cute coffee shops, and I just love that lifestyle so much. I also really like the fast-paced lifestyle that New York has. I feel like I really thrive there, honestly. I feel so cheesy saying that, but like it's so true. I feel like it would have not been like this if it wasn't for like the friends and community I've kind of established there. I definitely feel like that helped me kind of make it feel like home in a way. Someone said, do you like living in New York better? Yes, of course I do. I feel like my hometown is so boring. I feel like the stuff I enjoy doing in DC, you can find in New York and find things that are even better. But part of me will always have a heart for like the Washington DC, like DMV area, because I grew up here. But if I had to pick, like obviously New York. I feel like I'm on such a high right now for New York. Who knows what I'm gonna be saying in like a year or two from now, but I just want to document the process here, guys. Someone said, deciding between a traditional college campus or going to school in the city. I love New York City. Honestly, I would write down a whole list of like pros and cons. I personally didn't have this problem because like I said earlier, traditional college experience didn't really appeal to me as much. So maybe make a list and put like in the pros and cons of like what the traditional colleges offer and then what New York schools offer. Because I feel like there's also cons to New York as well. I haven't really talked about that because I've just been praising it this whole entire video. There's definitely things to consider with how expensive everything is there. Also, some people don't really like the winters in New York, like with how cold it gets and how you have to still walk everywhere. Some people also don't really like the subway. Also like the whole safety thing, like being a woman in New York is sometimes so scary. I don't know what year you are, but like if you're going there for the first time and you're gonna be dorming, I feel like that could also be really fun and also a lot more safer. Someone also asked what are the costs like in New York, and like I said, it is very expensive. But recently I've also been finding out it's kind of cheap if you know where to look. Like for example, there's this halal cart that I like going to that sells like a whole combo like platter thing for like $6-7, like super cheap, where I've seen other halal carts sell the same thing for like $14 or $15. There's also this like really cute like little stand bagel shop thing that this guy sets up like every morning. I once got like a bagel and cream cheese from him for like $1 or $2. He only takes cash. There's a lot of cheap food I like going to in like Chinatown as well. I usually find out about those places from word of mouth or walking around the area and just like stumbling upon it. So I feel like it's also just a good idea just to walk around, get to know your neighborhood and area that you're in, and stumble upon those things. Someone said, what are you currently studying at college? I am currently doing digital media and communications with a minor in marketing. The specific major that I'm actually doing that the school calls it's really long, but it's called Digital Technologies and Emerging Media. Someone said, how is Fordham University? I would love to go, but what majors can you do? I know the Rose Hill campus offers different like fields and they're known for different like majors, but for Lincoln Center, the Manhattan, New York City campus, we're mostly known for like law because we have like a really good law school program, and also business and the arts as well, like since we're right next to Lincoln Center. One thing I also really like about Fordham is their club life, because there is no sororities or fraternities, and I really like how like rich the club culture is. This is going to be the last question I'm going to answer because it is getting dark outside and the sun is setting. Someone asked, what is the hardest part about living in New York alone? As I'm talking about this, I have like an answer for this question because I feel like I've been talking a lot about the positives and how great New York is. My camera's gonna die. Oh my gosh, let me change the battery. The hardest part is like how introverted everyone is, and if you don't put yourself out there, it can be lonely at times. But for me, I feel like there's a strong difference between being alone and being like sad and depressed and lonely. So I feel like the hardest part was maybe sometimes just being alone in like my own space with no one around me. Like when my friends weren't doing anything or something and I didn't have something to do and I'm just like there all by myself. But with that, I just would take the initiative to maybe go on a walk or take myself out to like a cute cafe, FaceTime my mom, dad, or like family, and kind of embrace it, like living on your own. And even journaling, that's like another thing I like doing when I'm alone, and I feel like that kind of helps. But I do think it's really hard with New York because not a lot of people are like social, because I come from like a small suburb town and like a lot of people are super social. Like people will say hi to you when they're like walking by you on the sidewalk. Or I feel like New Yorkers and New York in general, they don't really talk to like a lot of random people, and I feel like you don't really want to in New York. It's definitely more of like an introverted city. I know it can kind of come across mean, but personally I look at it as almost like a blessing in disguise, because no one cares about what you do in that city. No one is judging you. No one even turns a second eye when you're doing something quote unquote weird. But I honestly see that as like the beauty of New York in a way, because no one is truly like judging you. And I feel like that could be hard on some people, but like for me, it just is so freeing. I feel like not a lot of other cities operate the way that New York does. I feel like I'm overly expanding on everything. That pretty much concludes this video. I hope you guys enjoyed and kind of got to know me a little bit more. I love doing videos like this. I feel like I connect with you guys a lot more. Please let me know if you want to see more videos like this. If you want to hear more about like colleges and transferring like stuff, maybe I'll do another one of these videos. Also feel free to leave a comment down below and I'll try my best to respond. If you guys want to stay updated on what I'm doing this spring semester, I would highly recommend following me on Instagram at @CaitlinDewitt_, and also follow me on TikTok. I feel like I never say this, but I have been pretty active on TikTok recently. Subscribe to my channel if you want to. I would really appreciate it. We're so close to 300K. I literally cannot believe it. Thank you so much. Also, if you made it up to the end of this video, comment down below the secret emoji. I like doing this as like a secret in my comment section, and I'm always on the lookout for it. And yeah, I think I've talked quite enough in this video, and I will see you guys all in my next video. Bye!